Harper Audio presents Bull's Island by Dorothea Benton Frank, performed by Julia Gibson and Joey Collins. Copyright 2008 by Dorothea Benton Frank. Production copyright 2008 by HarperCollins Publishers.
Chapter 1. Meet Bets. Trouble. In the charcoal shadows that delivered dawn today in my Manhattan apartment, trouble lurked like a horrible thief. It would snatch my guilty life out of my pocket. I could sense but not pinpoint the exact location. It didn't matter. Trouble would get me anyway. Trouble so practiced and seasoned that I would never know its clammy hand, each fingertip as light as feathers, had been there mocking me the whole way to ruination. Except for one telling detail. Before I threw back my bed covers, before I even glanced at my alarm clock, my left eyelid had begun to twitch in earnest. Always a redoubtable warning of approaching and certain disaster. My heart pounded. Was it a dream? Moments later, real life began again. My cell phone rang and vibrated against the blonde wood of my bedside table. It was my secretary, Sandy, calling to say Ben Bruton wanted to see me that morning. Wonderful. I was to begin my day with an audience with the great and terrible Oz. Not to mention I had a scheduled meeting later that morning with the gaggle of fast-talking suits from Tokyo. Swell. No one at my level was called to see Bruton unless he wanted you dead and out of his life, or your status was to improve vastly. I had no reason to fear for my position, and no reason to believe I was in line for anything except to continue what I had been doing for the past 4 years, evaluating and restructuring the distressed properties in our portfolio. Sounds boring? Anything but, trust me. I was late, which was unusual. Normally, I'm up at 6. My nerves got in between me and everything I had to do. As I dressed, I pushed my toe through an expensive pair of Wolford pantyhose, jabbed my eyeliner into the white of my eye, spilled tea on my shirt. On and on it went, until I finally got out the door. I rushed the 9 1/2 blocks from Park and 61st to work, dodging traffic, juggling my Tazo chai, my handbag, the Wall Street Journal, and my briefcase. Click, 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 the heels of my Prada pumps clicked and echoed in my ears as I hurried across the rose-colored, gold-speckled granite floor of the lobby. In my peripheral vision, I spotted Dennis Baker swinging into action, moving toward me like a PI, knowing he had caught my eye. Why was he always following me? He made my skin crawl. I slipped into an empty elevator. His arm caught the closing door, and I was trapped. "You look great today. New dress?" he said, exuding enough testosterone to impregnate every female in the 5 boroughs of New York City. Except me. Thank you. I avoided eye contact and his question. He leaned against the opposite wall, put his hands in his pockets, and struggled to look adorable. "So, let me ask you something, McGee." "What?" "Why aren't you committed to someone who could, see about all your needs? Too risky to get involved?" "It's not about money, Dennis," I said, looking directly at him without a shred of warmth. "It's about my survival. And since when is my life your business?" Disbelieving, Dennis Baker's obnoxious eyes surveyed me as though he could not imagine what I struggled to overcome. In his opinion, I had no problems because money was the great cure-all, as if I was rolling in it. Would that it were so. "I've been watching you, and just curious, I guess." Next, with what I'm sure he deemed considerable insight, he said, "Well then, it must be about power. Why you work
Sample complete. Ready to continue?